So this morning we have a special session, which is IEEE Empower a Billion Lives. That is EBL, in short, we call Empower a Billion Lives. And this is the second version of that one. So this is sponsored by the PELS Technical Committee 12. And we have the honor of having Prof. Deepak Diwan, who was instrumental in driving the EBL 1, and he's also driving EBL 2. So he will be giving an overview of EBL 2. That will be starting sometime from another few months' time, and it will open up for the competition. So without any further delay, I invite Deepak to start the presentation and give an overview about EBL2. Over to you, Deepak.
Great, thank you, Sanjeev. I appreciate the chance to lead the session on energy access. It's an area that is near and dear to my heart, and I think to a lot of people who kind of focus on what needs to be done to solve the energy problem around the world. I'm presuming that you can see my slides, everybody. Sanjeev?
Yes, we can see the slide.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is a special session on energy access for those of you who for those of you who worry about what energy access is, it really is the inability of people to have enough energy access to be able to lead a fruitful life. If you look at it, more than 1 billion people are currently living off-grid. About roughly 3 billion people live in extreme energy poverty at a point where it actually impacts their ability to earn a livelihood. And the only solution that we have today is to use yesterday's solution. So, grid extension. So, build out the grid. And the calculations are quite stark, actually. If we solve the problem for the billion people using today's solutions, building more power plants, building the grid out for them, you're going to get another 3.7 gigatons of carbon emissions every year, and that is simply not okay at this point in time. If you kind of look at how people like the World Bank and IFC and the central governments have all been kind of working on grid extension, it turns out that their assumptions are not working out very well. Take a look at the chart on the right. This shows for sub-Saharan Africa, it shows that 95% of the grid extension has not been able to recover operational or capital costs. 95%. There's only one in Seychelles that is in break even, and that's because of slightly different requirements. So why is it that people are getting are not being able to meet cost parity? Two reasons. One is the population density tends to be low. If you look at Namibia, it's about 3 people per square kilometer versus China at 146 and Nigeria 192. So there's a big difference in terms of the population that needs to be served. Second thing is poverty. The expectation when they build out the grid is that they're consuming a small amount, but they will rapidly, once the grid is available, consume more. But to consume more, you need to have more money. You have to have more income. And when that is not there, then they can't consume, even though the grid service is there and available. So, the Rwandan Authority says that, they're consuming less than 20 kilowatt hours per month, and they need to, kind of break even at 130 kilowatt hours per month. So this is really not working out very well. So what are the challenges out here? People don't need energy. You never go somewhere and buy energy. You need it because it enables your livelihood and your services. Okay, the factors that are really important to keep in mind are there's very low purchasing power that this group has. They are all aspirational. They want to succeed. They want to do all the wonderful things in life. They just are not able to do it. They're driven by what their neighbors are doing. So this is really kind of important. Also important from a technology perspective, we tend to think that all the technology solutions are there. But remember, these guys are very low-tech users. And you have to really optimize the systems for it to be working well for them. When there are different vendors and technology obsolescence going on, you have to worry about interoperability. These are all technical issues that not too many people have been paying attention to. And then when you go into these communities, who makes the last mile sale? How is that supported? How is it maintained? This becomes a problem. Also, how do you scale it? I mean, it's no point having one small village covered, when there's a million villages like that. How do you scale it? You want a solution that is able to start small and grow as needed, but is still able to be profitable all the way through that. So that really, kind of talks about business models. So along with the technology, what you need is business models as well. What we think is required as energy access needs some fresh thinking. It needs holistic solutions. You have to kind of look at solutions that will have very high impact and are scalable, and cost very little as well. So this is a grand challenge, no question about it. When you kind of put that in context of climate change that is occurring, the people who are most impacted by climate change are the poorest people on the planet, and it's unfair that they don't have access to energy at a point when something can and should be done. So if grid extension doesn't work, what does? Well, think about this. So, maybe the centralized model is not correct, and maybe a more nimble model of mini grids or microgrids might work well. And this is a chart that has been made by the World Bank, which kind of shows you, high density and low density, kind of populations. And you see that the grid extension works well in one area, but then, there's a space out here where mini grids, or microgrids have seem to have a really good opportunity. And there's a lot of companies that are building mini grids as we look at it. They build the infrastructure, it's a smaller scale infrastructure. But what we find is that most of the time people are using the mini grid mainly to charge their phone and for lighting. So as a result of that, even the mini grid companies are having difficulty breaking even. And here's a mini grid investor who kind of talks about the fact, that hardly anybody has good utilization, and almost none of the companies that they've invested in have been able to break through to profitability. And that obviously is not a very good, good solution. Most mini grids are overbuilt and badly undersubscribed. Okay, so as a result of that, that creates a death spiral. And this doesn't sound very good. Things are not all working out very well. So, what else can we do? Hey, how about a solar home system? You can put a solar home system. You can light up your LEDs. You can do things with it. You can kind of do some light commercial stuff. And this market is built, for speed. I mean, this is driven by technology, and there's so many vendors who are implementing things like pay as you go. This seems to be a very interesting way of doing it. But even out here, I mean, when you start looking at the actual data, it turns out that the whole idea of customers rapidly scaling up so that they can make a profit through the upsell, is really the motive that's been driving the companies, and they have not been able to work this out. So this looks very, very pessimistic. It looks very problematic, and yet, I mean, this need is very much there. There's another very interesting curve out here that has been put out by the World Bank again. What this shows you is the average per capita energy consumption, consumption in kilowatt hours out here, and they've computed what they call a human development index. What is the well-being? And you see that as the as people get to higher and higher scores of HDI, they consume a lot more energy. And this almost suggests that to have a high HDI, you need to have a very high level of energy consumption. And I think that is probably a flawed idea, because with new technology, with efficiencies, with LEDs instead of lamps, with better cooking stoves, you find that you might be able to get to higher HDI with much lower consumption of energy. So the question is, there has to be a better way of bringing energy to the people, not because they need energy, but because they need to get to higher HDI. And if you can do that with lesser energy, more distributed, more decentralized, maybe that's a more interesting solution. Now, we didn't really know the answer. We held a workshop a few years back at Georgia Tech, invited everybody from the World Bank and USAID and IFC and all the big companies and small companies, and said, guys, what do we need to do out here? And the answer was, hey, we don't really know. We probably should go to the regions to find out what is a good solution for them. And the net result of that was Empower a Billion Lives, which, as Sanjeev said, uh, is a global competition. It's interdisciplinary. It's held every couple of years. And the idea is to kind of have teams develop innovative, scalable solutions to energy poverty. The important thing is scalable. So we held the first competition a couple of years in 2019. It looked across technology, business model, social impact, and was not just a paper or lab study. It really involved field testing, for the solutions. For EBL1, we looked at two models, two tracks. One was a decentralized approach, and one was a centralized utility model. And we might end up with even more bifurcation of tracks, for EBL2 as we get ready to launch it. We advertised it through IEEE Power Electronics Society, who was the primary sponsor, and we were quite blown away by the response. We had 459 teams from 70 plus countries that registered for it. We had 137 final fully accepted proposals. We had 82 teams that went to 5 regional rounds in 5 countries, and we had 23 global finalists that came after doing an extensive field testing of their solutions. They came to Baltimore, where we're holding ECCE North America, and you can see the pictures out here. We had almost $500,000 in awards and prize money that was given out to the various teams. We looked at many innovation metrics out here that were used to assess how the teams were doing. We were looking at business models. We were looking at scalability. Was it carbon neutral and sustainable? Could it rapidly expand from a small value to small deployment to a larger deployment and maintain profitability? How was the last mile maintained in terms of service, in terms of sales, installation, commissioning, all of those? Data analytics, were you able to leverage? So it's not poor man's solution. It's really very high tech but low cost and deployed with value stacking in there. We wanted to make sure that the solution enabled digital and financial inclusion of the communities into the modern world and modern society. Looking at device monitoring and advanced IoT technologies that were integrated in with it. And then we also wanted to kind of make sure that social impact was there. So this was empowering the region, it was empowering the women, it was empowering children. And then at the end of the day, we were just looking for something that we hadn't thought about, the wow factor. So this turned out to be a very good, kind of model. Here are some of the teams that came through. We had 23 teams, from various places, including a team from Singapore, who we'll hear from in a couple of minutes once they're finished and Sanjeev has talked about this. We had a number of sponsors and our gratitude for them in terms of being able to support this very unusual activity that came out. So what were the highlights from this? I mean, just thinking about this, we had everything from DC nano grids and peer-to-peer community microgrids. We had a really interesting open source approach to empowering women in communities to build solar solutions. We had mobile agriculture, we had pay-as-you-go, we had microgrids, we had nano, a whole bunch of technologies. And you can see this is something that created a lot of interest and had a lot of people get very excited about all the things that were going on. And I'll share with you a little bit out here. The grand prize winner was the Souls team from IIT Bombay. They had an idea here that they were going to create an open source market-based ecosystem. And they had developed a bunch of kind of solar-based solutions, which they put through a very modern supply chain to be able to develop and supply components. And this was then taken to the villages where women entrepreneurs were trained in building solar cells and building solar products and building lamps and lanterns and selling them and maintaining them, repairing them. And that has really been, it was very impressive for the judges because it it seemed to be a very interesting mix of technology, of innovation in terms of the business model, and the impact that it had. I know that Chetan Solanki, who was leading the program on the day after the EBL competition, went off to initiate a program where 1 million, kids built their own solar lanterns so they could use them for studying. So this is, the kind of high impact, thing that we've been looking for. We had a number of winners out here, Entrepreneur Dumont and Okra from Cambodia, SolarWorks from Germany, Haven Hill built AC mini grids from Nigeria. We had a student team from Canada and Nigeria who built an AC energy brick, and we had X-Power and Cinder Solar and Connect Solar as also kind of got awards as well. So a very exciting program. What it did do was it kind of showed us at PELS that there was a strong need to bring a technical community together. Okay, we had a sporadic interest in energy access, but nothing focused. I think it always felt like, energy access is just LED lights and solar panels. So, what's there to do in that? But I think what this project showed us is that it actually involves very high technology, but it involves technology that has to be very user-friendly and easy to deploy and easy to use and interoperable. And there's a whole bunch of different attributes that are required, which we normally do not pay attention to when we're doing our technical work. So here we are looking at tier 2 solutions. Examples include decentralized bottom-up grids. How can I just do a plug and play, or the grid organizes itself? You take the boxes, interconnect them like Lego blocks, and the system is up and running. You don't need to have trained people. It talks to your phone. You can kind of all these things kind of become very easy to kind of conceptualize and today to do. How can you make the system interoperable? So from vendor A and vendor B and vendor C, you take the boxes and plug them together, and the whole thing works. I mean, this is the kind of stuff. I mean, you don't buy a kettle from vendor A and plug it into a specific power supply from vendor A. You just plug it into the wall. So this is the kind of stuff that we're looking at. Other thing was, why does it take so much of energy to cook? Can I do something that, in a hyper efficient manner? So it takes, 1/10 of what it takes to do that. Rural transportation, can we electrify that along with everything else? All the needs for refrigeration, for agriculture, for water pumping, for cooling. So these, the list goes on in terms of what you can do. And I think the interesting thing is that if you can do this right, if you can do this at very low cost, and you can kind of, jump over what the leapfrog the current grid technology, you might end up with some very interesting solutions that can then be exported back into the modern world as well. Example: can I build a resilient ad hoc power system? Can I have sensing and architecture? Sensing which can be done globally with no cost. Can I have ultra automation in AC and DC microgrids so that can be completely plug and play? Why do inverters have to be tuned? Why can't they be completely autonomous and figure out what needs to be done? Can I have real-time control of inverters that meet physical and market needs? So you can see that this is really a very complex set of topics that require attention. When we talk to the World Bank, when we talk to GOGLA, CLASP, and others, they all said there is a need for a technical organization to be involved that is not the vendor organization, so they can get unbiased input in terms of what can and needs to be done. So given all of this, the Power Electron Society has formed Technical Committee 12, and Sanjeev and I and Isa Buttersay and Yelena Popovic are kind of leading it. And Jane Selisak has been helping us with EBL II and just a little bit with TC12. But the idea is we want to kind of invite a whole bunch of our IEEE PELS members who want to be involved in the technical committee. We are looking at kind of renewing the decentralized energy access solutions workshop, which was held in 2018. Trying to renew that. And that becomes the flagship, conference for the technical committee. We'll organize some special sessions as well as publications and reviews. So this is an area that we want all of you to get involved in. I'm also using this to begin to announce the formation of a new competition, Empower a Billion Lives 2. This is going to be held from somewhere around, or late 2021, August 2021, and the final competition will be held in October 2022. We are hoping to attract even more teams. We are going to change the format a little bit, so we don't have 5 regionals, but we still want to maintain a regional flavor. So please watch for that announcement. We would like to see student teams from every university participate. We would like to see people who are entrepreneurs and who are hustling, trying to get their solutions developed to be a part of this. The teams have really, kind of benefited a lot, and we've benefited a lot from having access to the teams and learning from their experiences. We are also organizing a virtual workshop on June 30th, and this is going to be on energy access, and we're trying to bring together a full community, including the IFC, including the World Bank, including some national governments, including representation from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, and the idea is, can we have this conversation about what it takes to build an energy access community? What would it take to develop viable and sustainable energy access solutions and to accelerate the deployment of those? So this is, we expect this to be a very focused conference with a roughly a 3 hours, 3 to 4 hour, period overall. And it's going to be open to everybody. You will have the first kind of announcement of the EBL II, as well as some initial details of how to participate in that. So please keep your eyes open for this workshop. I invite you to join. You'll be able to listen in, and you'll be able to hopefully get some of the questions answered, and then you'll be able to log in and register your team for interest in this. It's very exciting kind of time, and really grateful for the support that IEEE Power Society has given, IEEE Foundation has given, and a whole bunch of other societies partners are stepping up and sponsors as well. So with that, I'm going to kind of stop at this point in time and stop sharing my screen, and then Sanjeev, you can kind of take over and go from there.
Thank you, Deepak, for the exciting presentation about EBL II.
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
By the way, Sanjeev, if we have time later, I have a video we can try to show that, but why don't we go into the other presentation, and then we'll show the EBL I video after that.
Yeah, that'll be fine. So we have Isa. He's a part of the TC12 committee. Isa, would you like to say a few words if you're there? Okay. Not getting a response, so we'll wait for that. We have Prof. Liu-Chen Chang, the present PELS president. So I would like to invite Liu-Chen to say a few words about PELS and the EBL II. Over to you, Liu-Chen.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. This is Liu-Chen Chan. I just would like to speak about EBL from the Power Electronics Society's viewpoint. Empower a Billion Lives as a global competition is the largest initiative of the Power Electronics Society. In the first EBL, that was between year 2018 and year 2019, the total budget for that project is about $800,000 US. Among that, about $500,000 was spent on the prize money prizes for all the winning teams. And this year, we will start EBL II. This is again the large initiative, and we hope to attract lots of teams across the world to participate in this important initiative led by Deepak, Isa, and Sanjeev Panda. And in addition, I'd just like to emphasize that we have also formed the technical committee on energy access, which we call it TC12. Please feel free to join TC12 as well as EBL. They are all available for free. You can click the links to join the initiative of EBL and to join TC12. I thank you for your attention, and I hope you are interested in either EBL or TC2 or both of them. Thank you.
Thanks, Lucian. Hey, Sanjeev, I think Isa was saying he's muted, so maybe you might need to unmute him.
Wait, can you do that? Yeah, he's unmuted now. Isa, over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I am actually out of the house, and I did not plan this. Can you let me walk in? Is that clear now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Deepak, was a great overview. The only thing I want to add is just it will be great to have people engaged and volunteer for EBL 2. My student and I get involved in EBL 1, and it's a great opportunity to really not to meet only the technical community, but to meet the entire, the business model of folks who are interested in funding small businesses, the entrepreneurs, and so forth. So I encourage everyone to get engaged and be part of EBL 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Isa. Although this was not planned one, but since I saw you were there in the panelists, so I thought that why not say a few words about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
I don't have to say much. Deepak has already given a beautiful introduction, but I would like to add on, I teach a module on electric drives, and I tell, taking it from the energy perspective, that how the developing status of a particular country depends on how much of energy they use. The higher the energy they use, the more industrially developed that country is. And that per capita energy usage could vary from by order of magnitude from developing to developed or somebody underdeveloping some of the countries. So in order to maintain the standard of living, we need lots of energy for sure. And energy in the electrical form is the best. And nobody can just question that how to transfer energy from one place to another place, and that would be the most efficient way to do is electrical in the electrical form. So it is always good to provide energy access to everybody to maintain their standard of living, depending on whichever part of the world they are. And this TC12 is geared, or it has been organized to meet that particular energy access objective and provide electricity to everybody so that nobody would be deprived of having electricity. Now, I would like to invite some of my students, Rohit and Jaideep. They were part of the EBL 1, which Deepak pointed it out. So they own in the regional context from the student stream point of view. So I would request them to make a presentation and give their perspective as a as a team when they participated in EBL 1, their experience. Over to you, Jaideep and Rohit. Please proceed.
Yeah, I hope my voice is clear. Yeah, I think someone wanted to add something.
It's good.
No, that's perfectly okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we are Team Power at NUS from Electric Power at NUS from National University of Singapore, and as a part of EBL 1, we have done this project called Electrifying Lives with Community Empowerment. And our objective was to investigate the potential electrification in the western part of India, which is energy poor. And uh, the problem is that it's difficult to get electricity extended to the western part of the island, and even in this island, wherever electricity is available, it is supplied with polluting and expensive fossil fuels. So we investigated and found out that their primary need in terms of occupation were ikat textiles, fishing, agriculture, and there is where they wanted electricity, and that could make their lives easier. Coming to the proposed strategy, we took a sustainable microgrid solution based on renewables, batteries, and just a small diesel generator for reliable resilience. And small users would pay a basic fee, and small businesses would like to pay an additional premium so that we could have a good equitable distribution of electricity, and we would have the growth dependent on the revenue generated by the businesses, and these loads would be scaled up as the business flourishes, and we could keep the inequality to the minimum as possible. So I would give a brief technical overview of the system that we had proposed. So we would have a community microgrid, and from the loads point of view, we would have refrigeration and e-tuk-tuk, some of the household loads, cottage industry, health center, primary school, and RO drinking water, all the things that we can think of in a rural setup. And we would have as sources renewable resources which would be there along with a battery, and we would optimize them to supply most of the energy requirements, but we also have a diesel generator for resilience. And I have summarized the load description in the previous slide, and so I would like to say that the net energy consumption per day we would have as 97 kilowatt hour, and the net investment as USD 90,000 in 2 phases. So I would not go into too much of details here. We can come back in case of questions. And we would have a metering solution where the household consumers would uh, have a prepaid electricity metering system, and they would have, but we would follow a pay-as-you-go model. We would use data analytics intensively so that we can use the data collected from the smart meter and use it for data analytics and AI uh, at our level, so that we could have a better understanding of the electricity usage and use it for better implementation of the rural electrification project. And we would have NB-IoT connected smart meters and LPWAN based metering systems, which are low in complexity and cost, and low power consumption with a good lifetime. So here the wow factors are the hybrid energy generation at low cost and a smart metering system so that we could have enough data to analyze. And coming to the impact, for generating impact, we have taken these 3 major points. First one is to provide affordable electricity for households, which is at the rate of 3.75 USD per month or lower. And we would like to have subsidized costs for household by including only 15% of the revenue share so that they don't get overloaded with the burden of finances. And then we would be having a scalable and standard distribution system. So we were thinking of using AC, and that is what we have implemented, and we found that it is easier to expand it to meet the the growing demands as and when we implement the system out there. And also we would like to meet the critical community needs, that is the purified drinking water for the 50 families of our focus, and subsidized electricity for all the life-saving equipments in health centers, and also at critical public facilities like public lighting and schools, and enable skill development. So we have seen some impact in terms of numbers in the agriculture and services sector. So we could see a profit of about 30,000 USD per month from all the agriculture sector breakdowns. And here we have shown just coffee, cashew, and hazelnut for you to have an idea. And in the services sector also, we could do revenue generation and generate employment. So when it comes to community empowerment, yeah, we could have them involved in operation and billing, and we could form a small council who would take care of all these things, which would reduce risk and ensure equitable distribution. And the household consumers would follow a fixed price model of up to 200 watt-hour per day, and then there is a little bit higher charge after that, and we have a pay-as-you-go model. Then we would be able to supplement the local income, and depending on the season, we would have about an additional income of 5,000 to 13,000 USD per month. And thus the wow factor is the employment and entrepreneurship opportunities, and adding to the resiliency and disaster management capabilities of the team locally present there. So coming to the business model, we would have a flexible, scalable, and resilient sort of business model, which would include multiple revenue streams. And the business model, along with the system or physical system, it is scalable. The financing is initially done by external investors, and no subsidies or grants need to be considered at the planning stage. We could pull them up later, and the infrastructure can be leased to the local operating community later, and we could have an exit clause for the after the break-even point. So this is a kind of breakdown of the energy consumption and revenue consumption. So the cold storage and tuk-tuk charging and cottage industry is taking the chunk of both the energy consumption and revenue contribution. And here we have a summary of the business model in terms of the operation and management cost, installation cost, and energy consumption. So this is how the cash flow is happening, and it's expected to break even in 3 years. So we have also done a risk analysis taking into consideration all of the inefficiencies that might be present in a underdeveloped or developing country. So now coming to the field trial. So first we have done a laboratory emulation of our system at test bed, so that we are quite confident about our solution. Then we have done a validation of our business model and the impact through collaboration with a local company there, so that we could set up the microgrid and have a better understanding of their language. So this is the emulated testbed setup and single line diagram there. We can have a picture out there with all the components there. So we have some sources, loads, as I had shown in the technical diagram before. And we have smart meters shown on the right side. So these are some of the results typically for 2nd March 2019, where we can see the solar profile, the wind profile, the residential load profile, and the industrial load. We also had Android application attached to our smart metering system, where we could track about the history and the energy consumption that's going on. And this is the installation that we had actually at the Sumba Island, and it was a 7.2 kilowatt hour installation where we could test with yeah, so this is a brief line diagram of the system there. So there were about 20 families there, and there was public toilet and a small common room for them to gather and have some community affairs. They call it balai, in fact. And this is a small system with the solar panels which I showed before, and here is the battery system and the charge controller, inverter, all these things. And we had a very good experience there through our collaborators, and the solar energy generated was, we measured it to be around 6.5 kilowatt hour per day, and the cost of installation was around USD 6,300. And I would like to mention that we could bring in some of the philanthropic projects like CSR and Maybank's program through our local partner. And it's the Maybank's program called Empowering Youth. And villagers was very involved in maintaining the microgrid or the nanogrid out there, and they would pay $1 per month to maintain the system. And yeah, I would not take any more time, and thank you so much for paying attention.
Thank you. That's nice presentation.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. So Deepak, we can play your video, then we open up for a question and answer session.
Okay, let's do that. Let me see if I can go back to sharing. I have to be authorized to share content. Jane, can you allow me to share? Okay, perfect. All right, let's hope this works.
Yeah, Prof, we can see.
Hi, Prof. Divan. Sorry, I can't see the video. I can see your presentation
Oh,
slide.
okay, sorry. Just stop.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it out here, so I'm just going to stop it. It's not working then.
Maybe
That's
we
all.
have to share a different screen, Prof.
Oh,
If it is
well,
yeah, if it is opening,
Yeah.
if it is opened as a different window, you can just share that window, maybe on Google or somewhere.
okay. Okay, tell me, can you see this now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
perfect.
good.
Now you can play.
You
Okay,
can
that's
start
great.
from the beginning. Yeah.
You can see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Thanks, Prof. Divan. We see some very good memories from ECC.
Yes, indeed. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we still have about 10 minutes. We can open up now for any discussion from the audience. Please raise your query through the chat box and we will read it out. Okay, before somebody starts, the point I would like to highlight here is that from this part of the world, if you look at it, the Southeast Asia, there are almost about 30,000 islands.
Yeah.
And there are no grid. Basically, it is diesel engine running and generating power, diesel generator.
Yeah.
So even on a small scale, like the Sumba Island in Indonesia, what my students showed, start with a smaller one and go for a hybrid diesel plus solar or renewable energy sources. There is a plenty of opportunity in this part of the world. And it will start, of course, through the various student team at the universities, tagging along with the industry people to support it, and then only it can be scaled up.
No, I agree. I think there's an awesome opportunity out here to redefine what the grid looks like, and the small communities, where you want the resiliency, you want the low cost, you don't want to pollute the, add carbon dioxide, and make it affordable. I think these are really interesting challenges. And I'm hoping, Sanjeev, that you can pass the message around to all the universities in that region that love to have teams participating. And then the entrepreneurs, the main people who are trying to do something, this is really a good opportunity for them to get visibility.
Yeah, certainly. Through our mailing system, we will pass on the message. And in the region 10, I'll encourage all the chapter chairs, student branch chapter chairs to pass on the message so that we can have more teams competing and submitting their proposal for this competition. Definitely do that.
Yeah.
I don't see any Q&A. Where is
Yeah.
Q&A?
Yeah, we do have some frequently asked questions, and so I might want to refer to some of those because I know they come up quite often, and some of them are, if it's a group of students that has a technical solution, they often want to know if they can compete. And so what advice would you give a student group regarding if they have a technical solution, what other team members would you see that might be necessary to add to a group of students that has a technical solution, or is you going to use an off-the-shelf one?
That's a good question, and I think we would see student teams kind of across the spectrum, people who have actually developed unique technical solutions that they want to try out. We've also seen solutions, our student teams where they have adopted existing solutions and trying to kind of take it to the next level in terms of how they get it to communities. To your point, Jane, I think it's not just the technology. I think you would want to look at that holistic approach that we are really looking for, where they want to, kind of understand the business model, understand the community in which it's going to be deployed, understand how it could make an impact, what would the field demonstration look like, and then from there, if this solution is successful, which we hope it is, then how does it scale? Maybe some of them become entrepreneurs. So, there's a whole bunch of different things out here, and everything's going to be different in terms of how they approach it. But thank you for raising the question. Sanjeev, your team just went through this process as well, so you may have something more to add to this.
Yeah, definitely. As there are no further questions at this point of time, may I request everybody to switch on their webcam so that at least we take a screenshot of this EBL II briefing. Can I request everybody to switch on? Yes, please.
All right.
Jane?
I am taking one on my side. If Jane is available, Jane, you can also take one. Yeah. So everyone, 3, 2, 1, smile.
And thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks so much for taking time to join us out here and to give us your words of support and wisdom. This is, as you said, a very important initiative we are launching. This is the soft launch. Make sure you mark June 30th on your calendar, Luchan. We'd like to see you participate in that workshop as well. And then I'll see you tomorrow morning, right, with the Control Society people.
Yeah, I think, Deepak, this is a good start, and Jane has recorded this one. So we start with the ECC Asia. Next, we should go to the ECC Europe, and then our workshop, and then the North America. So this momentum, we should keep it up so that the word of mouth will go to spread and people will be knowing about EBL II.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this COVID-19 situation, pandemic, there are difficulties, but we try our best to spread.
But there are difficulties, but there's also things that work well, right? I mean, look at how many countries are represented on the screen out here. When we're looking at the virtual workshop we're trying to organize, if we did that in person in DC, you would not get the same people. We have people from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Asia, from Europe, everywhere, right? And so there are some elements that are positive, but I think they are to tune the various things properly.
Yeah, you're right. For this conference, we have participants. Attendees are more than 600, but the participants come from all over the world, from 36 different countries.
Yeah.
And in this Engage platform, we can see live who are the participants, which part of the world they are on live. And that's a very good feature as well. So thank you very much, Deepak and Jane, Liu Chen, to you as well for coming for this particular special session on EBL II. And I would like to thank you for that. And we are just 4 minutes away from our technical session. With that, I would like to close this particular session. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys, and good job, Rohit and Jaydeep, for being, I think, good presentation out there. So thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Jane. Bye.